Hello and welcome to Poolside Problems. I'm Tor.
And I'm Elle. Poolside Problems is a podcast about our lives as 30-something-ish women living on a small island.
From moving abroad and finding friendship in unlikely places, the fun and the hard times, including some of the bigger problems life throws at us, like fertility, relationships, moving countries and everything in between.
Not forgetting our poolside problems, our daily rants that aren't really serious problems at all.
Hello!
We're back!
We're back. Another week of us.
We've just had a real crying, laughing moment, and I'm not sure we were ready to turn them back.
No, I'm not sure we are. I feel like I haven't actually fully recovered from that.
It's a good start though.
It is a good start. Should we share it?
The story?
Yeah. Because it does flow quite well.
Yeah, actually. And we, should we start by saying what happened yesterday?
Yes, go.
Okay, well, we are now, and you're going to now know the time lag of our recording to production time. But we are now out in the world. Poolside Problems is a real life podcast.
Yeah.
It's not just a theory anymore.
No, so this is, I think, episode 6, roughly. And we obviously had pre-recorded some before our launch. And we launched our first episode yesterday.
It was so nice.
It was so brilliant. So thank you to everybody that has listened so far. Yeah, it's amazing. Felt good, didn't it?
It did. It was a pretty yuck night before, I have to say. I didn't love the idea of it. And then when we, when I woke up to some nice messages, and then when people were downloading it that we didn't even know, and that was really cool and unexpected. Actually.
Yeah, it was really.
Now I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like your anxiety was definitely higher than mine. I think I just wasn't really thinking about it. And obviously, because of my Instagram, I feel like I put myself out there a lot anyway at the minute. Like I share my life a lot on stories and stuff. So I hadn't really thought of the implications of it. And then when you were like, I'm a bit nervous, I was like, oh, it's actually a bit nerve-wracking. We're putting our hearts out to people. Oh, God.
A little bit censored.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, it feels good. People are listening. We thought 4 people might listen, and we've got a little bit more than that. So that's nice.
Even your husband's listening.
Yeah, who is not into anything like this, but he's on a flight. He's like, I've downloaded a podcast. I'm going to listen to it on my flight. I love it. I think as well, because I got a bit overly sensitive, that Elle had loads of messages from all her family and friends being like, just listen to the podcast. It's amazing. And I basically didn't hear from anybody. I was like, oh, cool. Those people I know are interested in what I want to do. But actually, I did wake up to some messages this morning, so that was
a few.
Yeah, that's left out. Yeah, James was genuinely like, "Oh, babe, you actually pissed off or upset?" I was like, "I'm a little bit upset, but I'm alright about it."
I managed to turn it into something about me, to Tom last night. I was like, I just think maybe Tor doesn't want to do it because people just don't like it, and I sound terrible. He was like, I think probably just it was only even out for a day, so that's that.
And even Elle's husband, that was poor James as well. Even Elle's husband's messaged me a really nice message about the podcast. Have you listened to it, James? And he was like, oh, I listened to it on the flight. So poor Tom, I definitely got him in trouble, got James in trouble there.
Actually, you scared me most when you were like, I don't think he really gets it. And I was like, does anyone get it? I don't know if I get it. Feels like problems.
No, he doesn't get podcasts, really, I think is more the thing. He's just not very techy, even the slightest. He's definitely not our target audience either. So
this is true.
Fine with that.
Yeah, we can just talk about James as much as we want now.
Yeah. He'll start to listen.
Anyway, what is our funny story?
Oh, that we were laughing about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lovely guy called Michael, who actually I love because I'm just going to take this back 1 second. Our favourite podcast, my favourite podcast, Parenting Hell. Michael is their guy who edits, and his voice sometimes comes in and he speaks like this. It's like, hello, yes, it's Michael here. Our Michael doesn't speak like that.
But it's Michael who does the pizza toppings.
Yeah, he does the pizza toppings, yes. So we've got our own Michael, which makes me so excited.
So you wait, Michael.
So he edits this for us and puts it out there to the universe. And I sent him a message. We've got a group WhatsApp. And he was like, I just want to know what your setup is for recording the podcast. And I replied, and I basically said that we just sit in my wardrobe. But my message, I obviously it was a typo and I hadn't read it, and it said we just shit in my wardrobe.
Just basically shit ourselves in there.
And he just sort of looked at me like, I really hope that was a typo. And Elle was like, talk for yourself. And you know, when it's just one of those moments where I was in a really quiet room and it made me laugh out loud. I was like, no, we don't just shit ourselves in my wardrobe. That it's at one. That's probably not even that funny, but at the time.
Also, I thought it was really serendipitous how we never drive past each other, because you live east, is that right?
Yeah.
And where I live west of the island, so we hardly ever drive past each other.
Nice.
And then yesterday, after our beep versus bib debate started,
Yeah.
we actually crossed each other on the road.
We did.
Driving past, and I had to like wind down my window and put my hand out the window, like basically swerving.
Definitely swerving,
so that I didn't have to actually press my horn to wave at you. But yeah, there was no beeping or booing.
No, even after the poll. But because what happens is, and I don't know why it's here, I think maybe because it's a smaller island, so we do drive past our friends more. Like in England, I probably wouldn't really notice if I drove past my friend. Like it doesn't happen as much. Here you get so excited when you drive past someone. You just do a little beep beep. Oh, I said beep.
You did.
Beep beep. And you do a little wave. And I always Elle's very good at remembering people's cars. I have to get right up close and be like, "It's a white one. There's a white one. I definitely know that could be Elle or so and so." And I'm like, "Oh, here's and I'm like, I do a big wave last minute. But it was so funny because I could see Elle trying to wind her window down while I wave, or try not to hit me in the car. I'm like, wow, okay, there she goes. But we were literally just voice noting about this text to Michael as well. It was just so brilliant. We were just like, ah! Oh no, I'm glad.
Yeah, we came together. It's in one big mishmash car journey.
It was brilliant, actually.
It was a fun day yesterday. I'm excited to be recording again.
Yeah, so it's nice to be recording our next episode, which isn't 2, it's like a few down. But knowing that people are actually listening to this, and we've had some nice feedback so far. So thank you again.
Still undecided on beep versus bib.
Yeah, it's only been out there a little while, so when we know who wins, I think you're winning at the minute. Beep's winning.
That's because it is the real word.
Essex is a big place. We might take over.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, actually, one of my friends just messaged that we have had some messages, but one of my friends, the first message I woke up to this morning was like, 100% bib. I was like, yes. Glad you're with me. She's not even from Essex, actually, so.
Oh, okay. That's a new one.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone, I feel like people who heard about the inbox either had the like heebie-jeebies hearing us tell our inbox number of unread emails, the red circles, or they were actually like, we outed them basically, and they were a bit embarrassed and sent us their very high numbers.
So what we might do is we might share the highest one that we've got, see who out of you lot can beat it, see who that's listening to us has got the highest number of unreads.
Do you reckon it goes a bit apeshit if it goes over 100,000?
I've got no idea.
So that's a lot.
We'd have to see what people come back with, I guess.
Yeah, true.
So that's some stuff that will come out at some point. What have you been up to this week, Elle?
Oh, well.
Apart from releasing a podcast.
Just, gradually launching a podcast. Yeah, well, that's been pretty much taking a lot of my time up. I feel really conscious of saying solo parenting after we called ourselves out on it a while ago. But we are actually solo parenting this week, aren't we? Because
husbands are away working.
And I realise what the phrase we actually mean when we say that is probably more full-time parenting.
Yeah.
Is that it, I guess?
I don't know, though, because even when you have help, I feel like you're full-time parenting because...
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like they're away for night. We just have hours.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We're very lucky we have help, so I'm not really sure what we'd call it. We just call it solo parenting, and that's what we're going to call it. We don't, but I think the thing is that you don't have your husband to come home and talk to you about just normal stuff at the end of the day, and it's nice to have that release. And some people don't have that, unfortunately, but that's our life. We're used to having that, and I just think once the kids go down, the peace and quiet is nice for a few days, but you haven't got that I needed things earlier. Oh dear, I got a bit handsy then with my gesticulation, and I just pulled out the charger from the laptop. Anyway, yeah, just like that chat, or like, oh, Raf, she was being a little bugger earlier, or I don't know, it's just not the same.
Yeah, and I think I've said this before, just for me, when you wake up in the morning and you're getting like everyone's milk and everyone's breakfast and like it's quite busy even with Tom around, let alone like hectic, I guess, is the word, let alone when you're on your own. But I also do love like having an evening just watching whatever I want.
Yeah, like I watched proper trash last night and it made me so happy.
Yeah, or knowing I could like scroll through my phone. Although actually, that reminds me that because we don't follow that many people on the Poolside Problems Instagram.
Yeah, we will be,
but we have done, but then we've obviously been checking everything because we just put it out there, and then I actually had the thing basically today. I don't know if you saw it on the feed saying like you've completed Instagram.
Nothing else to watch.
It was like you've seen all the new posts in the last 3 days. I was like, did not know I could complete Instagram.
You can when you're not following many people, I guess.
But that reminded me as well. Gone off topic from solo parenting here, but that did you ever do this because it came up in Parenting Hell that they had like a career centre in their school?
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were going on, and it was the only place you get internet, right?
Yeah.
Like so, it was obviously before like laptops and phones with internet. I guess we didn't.
Yeah, I don't think so. You don't know. But that was it.
Oh yeah, I loved the snake. But the career centre and Google was new as well when I was at school, and we used to play this game, which was like, can you get 1 hit or like under 10 hits on Google? Like answers and stuff, and there were loads of but you had to put in real words, you couldn't put in fake words. So you put in like 2 words or 3 words that were real words, but that see if you can only get 1 or less than 10 hits on Google.
My goodness,
I don't reckon you could even do that now.
There's no way you could do that.
There's like millions, but like it would be like half a blank page.
Imagine mental, isn't it?
It's crazy.
So crazy.
Really showing my age here, but that was a fun game.
Yeah,
in free period.
Sounds so fun.
A little bit of nerdy time together.
No, I think it probably was fun at the time, wasn't it? I like how we've totally gone off topic though.
Yeah. I was just reminiscing actually. A friend and I, we tried to get into a club before it was even open.
Did you?
The only club as far as I'm aware of Bermuda. And we were literally like, yeah, can we come in? And they were like, no, we're not open yet. Come back in however much time.
Stop it, that's brilliant.
So, like, I'm not sure if it saved us that we went for dinner or made it worse.
But yeah, I'm glad I bowed and didn't go out. Didn't go out.
No, well, we didn't really go out. We got rejected from a club.
That's so good, so good. Yeah, and then our husband's on away this week, so we've done the whole launching. And actually, I said to Elle, it's really funny because obviously we've been so unlucky with COVID, but lucky in the sense that the guides haven't really been able to travel with work that much. So we've had them around quite a lot and kind of got used to that. Whereas this year they've started to travel with work a lot more and going away. And James and Tom randomly have gone away this week at the same time. And I feel okay about that. It doesn't bother me too much when they go away now. I know what I'm doing. I'm fine. But it was really weird because I felt like that. And then James left and the wave of anxiety that hit me, it was like before I had kids, I used to have really anxiety when he left me. And I used to be like, you're leaving me on this tiny island. Like, yeah, we've got friends, but it's not like in the UK where you'd have family and things. I know other friends, like, I just always used to feel so alone, even though I had friends. And it was almost like that feeling again of like, oh my God, he's left me and the boys on this island. And like, what am I going to do? And I think it's just because I was just saying to Elle as well that like my back's really painful at the minute. I've got to have another cortisone injection. And I think like I'm tired, also on my period. And I think those things combined can give you anxiety or like make you a little bit more like emotional. And I don't feel anxious about it at all anymore and I'm fine. But it was just this wave of like, I don't know, it's gone. And it's so weird.
Yeah, actually, I remember before having, as you know, have like often severe anxiety in various different forms and contexts and stuff. But I used to like cry when Tom would get on the plane, like if I would drop him at the airport and stuff. Whereas actually, I'm not even sure. We definitely did kiss goodbye today. Like, I was literally like, okay, bye, and stuff. But I do think it can just come out of no, like, I don't know about you, but I like remember really clearly, like when I first had anxiety, like felt anxious about stuff. Whereas like, I don't, like, it wasn't something that I grew up with at all.
No, same. I had a panic attack and I don't remember feeling anxious about anything until I had this panic attack. And it was while I was driving. It's the most horrific thing ever. But I remember the anxiety that followed that panic attack. And I was at university and it was horrendous.
Really?
And I think it was lack of sleep, drinking too much. Like my mum and dad were convinced I'd taken drugs. And I was like, I swear to you, I haven't. Like, I actually haven't. And maybe living away from home, I don't really know. But like, yeah, I fully remember, like, I didn't feel anxious. I had a massive panic attack, blacked out the wheel. My friend had to like take the wheel and pull onto like a side road and be like, right, put your foot on the brake now. And I like flew out of the car. And then like after that, I was so anxious, didn't want to drive. But obviously me being me was like, I will drive. But I used to have to drive with my windows open and always have snacks for some reason. And I'd like hyperventilate the whole journey until I got somewhere. But I was like, I have to get through this because I'm not going to be a non-driver. And then, I had to cut out caffeine. I barely drank alcohol for a while. Yeah, I fully remember it as well. It definitely wasn't something like my sister's had anxiety like as a child and she fully knows that, whereas mine definitely was university, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was actually listening to something about like a mother on a podcast talking about her son who like had just had an operation and sadly took his own life. And that they kind of think that it was connected to the operation. And I was like, it's so crazy how these things can just come out of nowhere. And we're obviously now in a time and place with like Instagram and honesty and people being really open, like with your sister being really open about mental health and stuff. So it's a great time to be opening up the conversation. And it's not something that like I'm obviously I'm pretty open book with most of my friends about when I'm feeling anxious or like about stuff. And I take the piss out of myself most of the time when it's my like outrageous health anxieties and things. But it is like, I don't know if it's better. Is it better to talk about it? Yeah.
I do feel like they say a problem shared is a problem halved. Is that right? Yeah. And I personally find that true. I think like if I bottle something up, the minute it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, oh God, I feel better. Like even just saying to you, God, I felt really anxious because James was on the plane. So I couldn't tell James I felt anxious. So I was like speaking to you and I was like, oh, I felt really anxious this morning. And then I was like, I don't know why I'm not anxious about it. There's nothing wrong. Everything's fine. Like just get on with it and it's fine. But I just think, we have been spoilt. Like we've had the anxieties of going through COVID and stuff. But like literally when we're in lockdown, James would be working on his laptop and in the room he was working on, there was a double bed. I was pregnant at the time and I used to be laying in the double bed, just snoozing behind him. Like I literally was like a little cat curled up by his feet. Like I spent all my waking hours with him and sleeping hours, I suppose. So I think I just got a bit spoiled about having that like comfort blanket. And so now where they are traveling a bit more, I do just get that like, oh, he's not going to be right next to me.
Yeah. And I was trying to think the other day about the whole travel thing. It's like, how far removed are we from what our equivalent life would be in London? Because they'd probably be traveling at this point as well, in similar jobs in the UK. But then would my mum like come and stay?
Yeah, exactly.
With the kids and stuff, or like, I don't know, I don't have a comparison because obviously didn't have children when we lived in London, but and I would have just caught up with all my friends and done stuff, like different stuff. But it is like some things just trigger like,
I mean, it could be anything. Like our triggers are all so different. Like anxiety is such a Yeah, well, that's the thing, is it's so broad and there's no like real pinpoint on it. And like, as you say, yours are very like, you've got all different anxieties around different things. Mine are mainly like, well, no, mine are just, I don't really know. Like, again, different things trigger it. And I think that's the problem with anxiety, is like, it can be around anything and it can be for any reason. But I do think talking about it definitely helps. Like, even for example, like when we're in Pilates, for some reason, I seem to cry at every Pilates thing at the minute. And I think that again is because I'm moving my body, like things are pulling in different ways. I've got time to like think, and my brain is just rested. I'm not like thinking about too much. And all of a sudden I just sort of relax and go like, blah, blah, blah. It's so strange because I'm not really a crier.
And I do feel like obviously that's what like friendships are too, but I feel like we have a bit of an emotional connection with her, don't we? Like she's very like, I feel like you can just be really open with her. Not that I don't feel like that with me a little bit.
Yeah. She's quite like, she does call herself quite witchy as well.
Yeah, she kind of extracts it from you. It's like you're going for like a detox emotion.
Yeah, like a little mini therapy session on the Pilates reformer. And Elle said, like, she was like, it's really funny, when you cried earlier, I just sort of laughed because I didn't really know what else to do, because I know you wouldn't want a hug, and I am not a hugger. When I am like upset about something or like nervous, I'm like, don't hug me because it makes me worse. I'm literally like, cool, yeah. And my sister said once, she like patted me on the back. She was like, I better not hug her because she'll kill me. And like, obviously a hug, sometimes you do need a hug, but I'm not a hugger. Like if I'm in that sort of mood, I'm like, nah, get off me. Whereas you, I can imagine, would fully appreciate a massive hug.
Oh, I don't know. Not crying.
No, you're the same as well. Okay, fine. I mean, I wouldn't help you because I would feel like, I know I wouldn't want to be hugged. So I'd be like, I'm really awkward. I'd be like, are you okay?
Yeah, I don't know if I am a hugger. I'm not like, I mean, I've had this like kissing, hugging thing, 2 kiss. I'm getting more into, I'm training myself to be like 1 kiss and a hug. And I do always feel like my armpit goes straight for the person's face.
Yeah, we do have this thing here. We actually were talking about it on the boat the other day, where like, do you do the 1 kiss, the 2 kiss? Because in the UK, I would have done the 1 kiss, maybe a hug. Here, there's a lot of 2 kisses.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do the 1 and then you linger, and then they're going to go for the 2nd. Have we discussed your awkwardness?
I don't know, but it ties perfectly into anxiety.
Because I feel like Elle should tell you, and we'll cut this out if we've already spoken about it. Elle, what happened the other week?
So
it's like around your anxiety as well.
Yeah, so actually, was it? No, what happened first? Okay, so Dee, our friend, came over, and Tor was standing behind me, and as Dee arrived, I went to give her 2 kisses, and she totally pied me for the 2nd kiss. So I kind of carried on going, like, and then obviously it maybe turned into like a kiss hug, the 2nd kiss or whatever, but she was not having it. Anyway, she's since said that she only does 2 kisses on holiday. It's a holiday move. Anyway, yeah, later that day, so that was like awkward moment, carried on. And then later that day, Tor showed me an Instagram video of like, basically, I can't remember what the caption was, but it was about socially awkward people. Like, or people who misread social situations and then overthink it massively afterwards.
Yeah.
I myself. And she was like, this video is you, literally, exactly you. And that actually really did tickle me. It's a very good video. And I was like, oh, just like earlier when I could like hear your brains behind me, just like going, like feeling the awkwardness of me trying to kiss Dee a 2nd time. And you were just like, oh my God, you could fully, you could hear what I was thinking.
It was brilliant because she couldn't see me. I was behind her. And like, we didn't even like cross paths after that kiss. It wasn't like we even had an eye moment of like, I noticed that. Like the day carried on, and I was like, oh, by the way, I could hear your thoughts behind me about how awkward that was. And I was like, oh my God, 100%. I was stood behind her going, oh no, in my head. Oh no, she's got, oh no, Dee's not. Oh, she's still going in. And my thoughts were literally doing it. And you picked up on that. And then he just leaned in for like a 1 kiss and a hug. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to start practicing the 1 kiss hug thing. But I do feel like my armpit just goes straight for someone's face. I'm like, I don't want my armpit. I don't know why it does, because you're not tall or anything.
No, maybe not. Maybe I'm just.
I think again, your anxiety makes you overthink it, and that's why talking about this anxiety stuff is quite good, because like you definitely overthink every situation. Like,
Yeah.
you've read into a situation before the situation's happened and you've got your conclusion, or probably 5 conclusions, and none of them are like, I don't know, just
Totally. No, I think like I remember at Mark's old salon actually that like I had my hair done, and
Mark is my best friend's husband, who is also a colorist.
yeah, and I can't remember the other guy's name basically, but he said to me that anxiety is it's like very well known from a famous book called The Tao Te Ching or something, which I've definitely pronounced wrong. But yeah. And he said that anxiety, people who are anxious focus on the future, people who are depressed focus on the past, and people who are content like live in the present. And I was like, oh my God, I am so that, like, that explains my anxiety to me, because I haven't really ever identified with depression, if I'm honest. Like, someone might call me a negative Nancy and stuff, but I don't like, if I read a list of symptoms of depression, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
But anxiety, I'm like, tick, 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 tick. Worries about situations before they've even arisen.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually what, for me, like, I don't think I had a panic attack, but it definitely totally, like, really, for me, it's quite random, but I just had like a smear test and I had abnormal cells. And I went back the next time, for a follow-up, like more detailed tests or something, and they were like, oh, actually no, it's all normal. But I remember opening the letter from the smear test result and seeing like the words abnormal cells and just like completely crumbling on my doorstep, just being like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
And I definitely have always had like a real phobia around AIDS. But actually, like, that definitely for me was a massive trigger of my health anxiety.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've now both gone into pregnancies.
Yeah.
With just general anxiety and stuff, but also having had a miscarriage.
Yeah, it makes it resilient. Well, I can't speak. Anyone that has a pregnancy can have anxiety, of course, but I do think pregnancy after miscarriage, like, the anxiety is so heightened because you know what it's like to have lost. So it's just,
and just every day goes so slowly, like,
yeah,
because you're counting, like, you just, and your whole, a friend of ours who's pregnant at the moment was saying, like, I'm just ready to just, like, not be thinking about it all the time, like, because it consumes you, like, what you eat, how tired you feel, how much sleep you're getting. You're thinking about, oh, well, everyone's telling you, like, your life's about to change and you no idea how, like,
yeah,
but then you're also like, but is it going to be fine? Like,
yeah,
and then you're going for scans and you're having blood tests and you're examining your body, like, all the time.
yeah.
Like, I was petrified my first couple of blood tests, just getting the results, because obviously for me, that fear was like reading that letter saying which is very common, having abnormal cells and why we get smear tests. But like, I think the thought of getting my blood test results, even though I probably knew my blood was fine in my rational brain, like, I was petrified about it. I couldn't like pick up the phone and answer the call, because I was like, they're going to tell me I've got something terrible.
I remember that you having calls from the thing and you'd be like, that's the number, I can't answer, they're going to tell me something bad. I'd be like, but it's better to answer now and just find out. And you'd be like, no, I'll call them back. And you just obviously needed to get your head ready.
Yeah.
To call them back when you were ready to have that conversation.
It's horrible. It's like, just like checking your bank balance, but checking your
health CV. Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Like, obviously I had a gazillion blood tests and scans. But blood tests for me in pregnancy were always the final, like, nail in the coffin when I have miscarriages, because they're the ones that tell you, no, definitely you have no pregnancy hormones. Bye. Like, yeah. So, yeah, that is like the blood test results. But in my last 2 pregnancies, I literally had blood tests every day. So, like, I couldn't get anxious. I tried not to, because I was like, I'll be a bundle of a mess if I get anxious about every one of these. But it doesn't mean that you're not more anxious on some days. And like the scans, oh God, it's just everything. It's like anxiety inducing when you've had pregnancy after loss. But I remember one of my friends who hadn't ever had a miscarriage being like, oh God, yeah, even in my first 12 weeks, I checked my underwear every day for blood. And it's like, because she'd heard that that was like the start of a miscarriage, and she just couldn't get that out of her head. Like, so she just like every time she weighed, she was like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. And I was like, God, it's mental, and you've not even been through it. You've just like know about it, like how things can just play on your mind.
Yeah, it's well, totally. And I think if like we're just so much more aware of like things that can go wrong now as well. Like, it's like that's a downside of just knowing loads and stuff. Is that you feel more like you feel like, oh my God, like what is going to be me, or like the one in four, the whatever it is, like and stuff. Like it's a bundle of emotions, both pregnancy and then I do think do you feel like since having the twins you've been less anxious?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I actually remember my sister saying that to me. She felt less anxious once she'd had kids. Because your brain is like, obviously you're anxious to look like for your kids, looking after them and stuff, but your brain is like in overdrive of like feed, sleep, bath, bed, like tiredness. Like I just don't think
it just takes you out of yourself. Yeah, doesn't it? And also, I guess in going back to that quote that I can't quote, that like you're in the present, you're living in the present the whole time with them, and so like there's no point. It would be an infinite thing to worry, list of things to worry about.
And it's funny as well because when you're in anxiety, like you do feel crazy. And actually, it's just come to my brain that like I called you Mad Cow, like from that book. And then who's the author? Randy Gordon. Sorry, yeah, of course. And actually, that book is like everything. Like both of us, through time have felt like not necessarily exactly the same way, but like there's snippets of that book that you are literally like,
that's probably the one. Like, there's a chapter in her book Mad Girl, which is like just describes severe health anxiety, basically. Like, I think she may even maybe had the same fear that she had AIDS.
Yeah, no, I think she did. I think that's why I got a few straight away. I'm pretty sure.
To put it in perspective, like I've checked loos in like restaurants, bars, pubs, like public places, basically for needles.
Kids' playgrounds as well. You heard?
Yeah, like ever since I was a child, like very very young child. Well, since I guess I became aware of AIDS, I don't know, or needles.
Yeah, like how did that even start?
I've no idea,
isn't it?
And that was just my fear. So like that I'd sat on a needle, like was quite remote possibility. But she wrote this chapter, and it's the first time in my whole life that I was like, oh my God, someone else does that, or someone else feels that way, and it was so reassuring to read that it is just your brain trying tricks on you, not not like, well, I am mad, but
Yeah, no, but I think that I love the title of the book anyway. And I read it such a long time ago now, I can't actually quote or remember much. But I do remember reading parts of it being like, whoa, that's Elle, whoa, that's me. Like, I just was like, Elle, this book. It's just like, I know, I've read it. I was like, wow, okay. And now, obviously follow Bridie Gordon religiously on Instagram as well. But yeah, that she kind of nailed it, like big time, didn't she? And I do think that is one thing about talking about anxiety is if you can make one person, and like the same about me, talk about miscarriages and fertilities, make one person feel like they're not alone.
I feel like a bit about our podcast, like people have been asking us recently, like, what's the point of it? Like, what's the thing that you're, what you like, what's your thing that you're talking about, or
what's your end goal?
Yeah, and genuinely, we certainly don't have a commercial one, or like, and stuff. But we then the way you phrase it was like, well, I feel the same about my Instagram, which is that I am talking as if I'm tall, by the way. Like, if I can just help one person by sharing my story and like making them feel like there's someone to listen to them or to feel similar, then. And I was like, that is exactly it. Like, how cool would that be if like we could just make an impact on one person? Like, really wouldn't mind.
No.
Even if it's just that they're like, oh, phew, like she says bib too.
Yeah, exactly. And from like the expat angle as well, like we've got that other bit to us. Like, we're not in our like bosom of our families in the same country, which a lot of people aren't.
The bosom.
Yeah. So we're like, I like it.
Not still breastfeeding.
I meant like in the like little family close circuit unit. I don't know where it doesn't know my bed. I don't know if I've ever said that. Thinking it's me.
It's amazing.
But yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah. So God, yeah. So like already I know that some of our listeners will like appreciate the anxiety chat. But like what it'd be good to know like what brings on your anxiety, what's like made you feel anxious. Is there any specific topics that you like think, yeah, I reckon these two could have a chat about that? Let us know.
Does any expat listeners feel nervous about driving in the UK again? You don't count because you've done loads of it recently. But I was just having this conversation with someone that actually, I don't know if I could go on the motorway driving now, because like we drive at 20 miles an hour here.
Yeah. But at least we're driving on the same side of the road here. A lot of other expats wouldn't be driving the same side of the road.
Yeah, that is true. But I think I'd be scared to go like 70 or 80 miles an hour now.
It is nuts because I'm going to just go rogue on here at this, but like for a UK person moving to Bermuda, we have to redo our driving test here. Even though we drive on the same side of the road, like it's ex-British colony, like you're like, wow, okay, cool. But for a Bermudian coming to England, they can literally, so like the speed limit here is like, yeah, like 25 miles an hour. The roads, there's no like dual carriage roads. Everywhere's like one lane, windy road. But they can land at Heathrow, Terminal 5, hire a car on their driving licence and get onto the M25. Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
also how scary for them.
Yeah, for them, obviously, it must be scary. But also like, all the other drivers like, we come here and we have to redo our driving test. But like, they like, bless them, imagine pulling on the M25 if all you've ever done is driven in Bermuda. Like, that must, like, I'm quite a confident driver. I'd probably be like even in my drive, I remember when I passed my driving lesson in England, like my friend, her mum was like, you're not driving on the motorway until I've taken you out on the motorway a few times. Whereas my family are not like that. My mum and dad are like, go, you've passed your driving test. They say you can drive, off you go. And I was like, woo, off on the motorway, see ya. And I was fine. So I don't think it would faze me that much. But it does blow my mind that I'm like, people that have just only ever driven in Bermuda can like hire a car and they must get onto the M25 and be like, oh, wow, what is this? Like, it's nuts. Absolutely nuts. I'm sure that is a bit anxiety inducing for some of them.
Yeah, exactly. And also if you have any tips sharing for how you like get around a what's the word, not a funny turn, an anxious episode
or a panic attack, or like how do you stop yourself from having a panic attack? 'Cause I know that I like, if I feel panicky, like I haven't touched wood, I'm gonna have to touch some now. I had a panic attack in quite a while, but if I feel that anxiety building, I know that I basically need to like just deep breathe, take myself out into some fresh air, go for a walk, like, and tell myself that it's okay, that it's not going to happen. Because I think the problem is like where mine started with the fact that I was driving and I blacked out, is that every time I was driving, I'm like, I'm going to have a panic attack. I'm going to put like, I've not got someone in the car. I will crash this time. I'll kill somebody or myself. Like, and then my brain just couldn't stop that. Was actually what I learned to do with the driving, is be in the car and be like, I'm fine, I can drive. That's not going to happen again. I'm fine, I can drive. I'd like to have some music on, I'd listen. I think actually if podcasts were around in those days, that would have helped me big time, because I'd have had like a conversation to listen to, more distraction. But yeah, I just literally do tell myself like, it's okay, that's not going to happen. Like I used to have the one health anxiety one I had quite a lot, which is a common panic attack symptom, is that it feels like you're having a heart attack. Like your arm goes tingly, you get pains in your chest. And like, I used to be like, it's not a heart attack, you're fine. It's not a heart attack, you're fine. And I'd be fine about it. But like the beginning, when it first happened, you are like, go to the doctor straight away. You're like, there must be something wrong with my heart. Like,
and actually like affirmations, for lots of people that know me know that I love affirmations for lots of reasons, but like, it sounds like a technical term, like doing meditation or something, but basically what you're doing there is an affirmation, like repeating something to yourself. And they really worked for me too. Like I just when I was in the car before discovering podcasts, I would just be like, my body is so healthy and it's going to let me know like if it's ever not, like, you know, I'm so in tune with my body, and like, and basically really like repeating to myself that I'm healthy, and that until my body tells me otherwise, I should believe that it's healthy, and listen to it. And I think that's massively helped me from a health perspective, but also just like, it takes you out of yourself in the moment.
Yeah.
If it's just like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, be fine or whatever, or
It's so true.
back on Friday.
Yeah. And it's so funny as well, because Elle, like, literally, you can tell from that conversation that Elle was like, that's an affirmation you've done there, and it worked. See, because she's so into stuff like that. And my immediate reaction would be like, affirmations. I'm not going to repeat to myself that I have a healthy body. But actually, you just totally put it in perspective, and that's definitely what I was doing. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm a believer.
I'm a believer. I'm on the fence, but I see how it works.
Yeah. No,
I'm only on the fence because I'm a lot more cynical in life than you are. But it did work for me, 100%. And one of our friends, she did daily affirmations, and her baby came on its due date and just popped out in like about half an hour, didn't it? So
yeah,
part of me was like, I'm sure she'd describe it as just popping out. I mean, she definitely would have described that. She'll know.
Yeah,
but I fully believe that, like, she also was always going to have a baby that came on its due date, because that's just her. But I do believe, I believe that helped her as well, like her mindset into the day, and the minute the contraction started and things like that, like the way she went into it was from like her getting her mind into that process and ready. And obviously with births, that doesn't always go to plan, but I digress. Sorry, it just made me think of that. Anyway, I feel like we haven't done our poolside problems.
We have not. What is your poolside problem for this week? I hadn't even thought about mine.
Oh, so I'd say my poolside problem this week is, God, Michael, you have to edit this bit out because I just burped. My poolside problem.
When you finally eat vegetables and it makes you burp.
Yeah.
Someone did email in that the humidity is their poolside problem. And I'm inclined to agree with them, because humidity right now.
Yeah, the humidity is out of control. You can't do much with your hair at the minute.
Well, I mean, I don't get as far as my hair, but it's just, I don't like sleeping naked. I don't want to sleep naked.
Oh, no.
But I wake up having stripped off my clothes because I'm so hot at the moment.
My poolside problem is that my aircon keeps breaking.
Oh, yeah, I was breaking.
So I'll literally be in bed and it's all cool and lovely, and then I'll wake up 10 minutes later like, I'm sweating! Like, and I feel like that's definitely a bit of a poolside problem, because we're quite lucky that we've got aircon in our bedroom, because some places definitely wouldn't have aircon.
Yeah, this is true.
But yeah, like, it just keeps flashing up an error message, and I'm like, nah, it drives me mad.
Oh, well, I was fully broken upstairs.
Oh, it doesn't even work at all.
Yeah, I think that might be why Rory's temperature was 101 this morning.
Yeah, and that's not going to help.
So hot. But it's not even close to like what it's going to be like in the summer. And hopefully a bit of rain just like freshens it up.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a boring poolside problem, to be honest.
Yeah, I did just think of something, but it's not a poolside problem. This is actually like how lovely it is, like living in somewhere like Bermuda thing, which I think is quite a nice thing to end on, is that today I went into town and I had an eye test, and I wanted to grab a coffee, and then I had to go to see the physio for my back. And basically, I forgot my purse. And everyone was so nice. So we got to the eye place and I was like, look, guys, I'm really sorry I forgot my purse. I can ring my husband. And they were like, don't worry, just call us and pay. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you, that's nice. And then I was like, look, the guys in the coffee place know me. I go there all the time. And I was like, look, I'm really sorry I forgot my purse. And she literally just went, what do you want? And I was like, okay, Black Americano, thanks. And then I got to physio and she was like, oh, you're here all the time, don't worry about it. I was just like, that just wouldn't happen. Like, maybe in London, if you go to the same coffee place every time, or not even in London, I'm just thinking about when I commuted.
Yeah.
Maybe it would, but like, if you went to the dentist in London and was like, oh, I forgot my purse, they wouldn't just let you walk out of there. Like, some places might, but it just wouldn't be as free as that. Like, I've had a whole morning of no cat, no money at all. And they're like, that's okay, don't worry. Like,
so true. It's lovely.
It's just the Bermuda, that is definitely a very Bermuda way. It was just such a nice morning to have. especially when like my back is in so much pain. And then my back's in so much pain and my cortisone injections, but for next week. And I was like, I'm at the crying point of pain. Like it's taken a bad turn. And they just put me in tomorrow morning. We're like, don't worry, we'll squeeze you in. Just going to start early and get me in because you know how much pain I'm in. Like,
So sweet.
and that's not just for me. That's just what they're like. They're just so nice.
Yeah, it is lovely, isn't it? So
Yeah.
one big family.
It is. It is. Anyway, that was a rubbish poolside problem from us this week. But humidity is rubbish and the aircon breaking.
Well, actually, I got another one, which
Oh.
is just not really a poolside problem, but I forgot to tell you that I'm not wearing deodorant because I've got it like shaving rash. But this ties into the humidity because, like, what am I going to do? I'm just going to smell until it goes, or
I did that the other day, and James has got some shaving rash cream in his bathroom, and it's so good. Where does it work at night? Yeah,
okay,
put some on before you leave.
give it a go.
Well, I just put deodorant over mine to the sting.
It's not the sting. I just want the rash to go because it, it looks a bit mean.
Yeah. Oh, go steal those one. And last time Elle came into my wardrobe to record a podcast, she had stinky feet, so she just basically comes here and smells.
Yeah,
No, you don't smell. I can't smell you. You're fine.
just starting to. It's getting quite warm.
Okay, right, we're going. Bye, guys! Thanks for listening to Poolside Problems.
We hope we made you laugh a little and that you felt like you too were hiding under a duvet with us with a cup of coffee for some girl chats about our real problems and our silly poolside problems too.
If you enjoyed listening, we'd love to hear from you in a review below, and don't forget to subscribe.
If there's something you'd like us to open up the conversation about, or something we talked about today resonated with you, drop us a message on our Instagram at Poolside Problems and we will try to include it in future episodes.
And of course, nothing is TMI. We are all ears to anything else you'd like to share with us.
See you next week for more Poolside Problems. Tor and Elle.